Some years ago, I was intrigued by an article about Episcopalian ladies walking the labyrinth as a meditative exercise. But my background in anthropology and myth told me that at the center of the labyrinth was the Minotaur. It's a cannibalistic monster who feasted on young Athenians who were imprisoned there. So how could this ancient symbol contain both a calming spiritual experience and, at the same time, house a creature like the Minotaur? If I could find where the labyrinth had come from, I could discover where the significance of it had divided to become such a paradox. But no one I studied could answer that question for me. The labyrinth has become the focus of a fast-growing international community. They're appearing in churches, gardens, schools, and prisons all over the world. And the ancient ones are also found all over the world, among cultures that have had no connection with each other. This says that it's a universal human experience to take this spiritual, spiral journey of the soul. In all cultures, in all spiritual pursuits, entering into an altered state of consciousness allows us to converse with the divine. There's a borderland between this conscious waking world and the other world where the spirits, ancestors, or gods live. Under certain circumstances, that border opens up and inexorably pulls in the trance journeyer, who leaves his body in trance in this world but moves into the other as spirit. This is the same experience of going for the light at the end of the tunnel that near-death survivors report. If you're a shaman, you train for years to be able to control those trance states, to enter them willingly, leave your body behind and send your spirit into a vortex, the portal between the worlds. That vortex is the center of the labyrinth, the focus of the journey to the spirit world. In the Paleolithic, the caves themselves were the labyrinths, and they were explored by everyone and used by many, many people. The cave of Lascaux is the perfect example of a labyrinth of that time, and the people who painted it recognized its potential. It's made up of a number of different chambers, but the largest, the Hall of the Bulls, and a branching tunnel called the Axial Gallery make up what amounts to the first definitive labyrinthine journey. The people of Lascaux knew they had a rare find on their hands, and through conversation with the cave, they very carefully and spiritually planned the images to both replicate and produce a deep trance experience. The Hall of the Bulls, or the Rotunda, is a communal space big enough to hold 50 people. It gets its name from the 7 gigantic paintings of bulls, actually extinct aurochs, much bigger than today's domestic cattle, around the perimeter of the room. In this sacred space under the earth, near to the gods, the message is as clear as the saints arrayed on any altar. We are part of a community. We are family, and to survive this world, we must help each other and nurture the future. Many other animals, reindeer and horses primarily, appear around the wall as well. Almost all of them are facing, if not actively moving toward, the narrow keyhole-shaped Axial Gallery. There's a funneling motion that's drawing these animals deeper into the cave and into this tunnel that is only wide enough for one person to pass at a time. We've moved from a communal space into a personal journey. The first image that greets you is called the Roaring Stag. He's wild-eyed and fierce and black, with a blush of red mist around his open mouth as if bugling, sending out a warning to be on your toes. As you move down the gallery, called the Axial Gallery because the modern discoverers thought it spun like a wheel, and it does, the animal images become increasingly agitated, confrontational, and literally leap out of the wall and tumble down the sides. As you come close to the end of the gallery, the floor dips down, the path narrows to shoulder width, and there they painted the upside-down horse, completely upside down with its hooves in the air, and they painted it around a corner. You can't see the whole image from anywhere in the cave because the path is too narrow. You can only see it when you're in motion, moving around the corner. This is the Paleolithic parallel with entering the center of the labyrinth. At this point, the cave architecture cranks around a corner to the left and ends just a short way beyond. The first image you meet here is an aggressive bison. big, lumpy, all red and with his head lowered and horns at the ready. The Hall of the Bulls and the Axial Gallery together both conspire to induce a trance state and represent that spiritual journey into the other world as represented by this beautiful, sophisticated art that was inspired by the natural form of the cave. It is the most heavily painted and heavily used cave in France, so it was obviously very important to these ancient people. Bison are extremely rugged, stubborn survivors who persevere through freezing weather and wolf attacks. They are formidable adversaries, and they are the second most frequently represented animal in Paleolithic art after the horse. In another chamber of Lascaux is one of the most famous images of cave art, a shaman apparently falling backward in a trance as he is confronted by an aggressive, disemboweled bison. There are a number of images of men confronting bison in other caves as well. Why this confrontation, this creature at the center of the labyrinth? When one passes through the membrane between this world and the next, the body is left behind and the spirit moves on. In spirit, transformation is possible. They, like many shamanic hunter-gatherer tribes, believed that all existence originated from the same spiritual source. When a shaman moved through the veil to the other world, he confronted a bison, and if he was courageous and wise, could learn the spirit power of the bison. He took on the qualities and strengths of that bison. So we see these images in the caves of men encountering bison and transforming into minotaurs, half men, half bison. In these ancient times, the minotaur was a healing shaman who had literally danced to the edge of death and returned with wisdom and power to help the people he served. The Greeks, either by misunderstanding or purposely misrepresenting these primal shamanic ideas, turned him into a monster. Today, modern walkers enter a labyrinth with an intention, a hope for guidance, or just to focus on an issue in their lives. They are confronting an aspect of themselves or their lives that they need to come to terms with. Once at the center of the labyrinth, they receive insight into the focus of their meditation, and on the return trip to the waking world, a resolution of how to go forward. The Minotaur, then, is what holds us to a higher spiritual accounting. He is both locked door and key to higher understanding. My hope is that people will read this book and come to a much better and deeper understanding of what it means to be human, how truly remarkable and sophisticated these ancient people were, and the world of power in which they lived their lives.